All right, Andrew Eason here with the ESUCC, and I am excited to get a chance to visit with Jason Everett of ESU 10 as we talk a little bit about icebreakers via video conferencing. And this is really an important topic because I think that, I don't know, I'm going to speak for myself. I sometimes think they're a little cheesy. I think it's a little bit tough sometimes in class to do those with consistency. But when you're talking about Zoom, getting that students feeling like they were being recognized and engaged right from the start of things is so important. And so I really do like the idea of making sure that these are done consistently in that remote setting. So Jason, thanks so much for sharing with us today.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with you. The icebreakers, or just that, you can call them bell ringers or however you want to in the online world. I guess we call them icebreakers, and in meetings and things like that. So you can use this for really anything, but it's that whole idea of basically being able to make sure that your participants, whether they're students or workshop participants or anybody else, is tuned in to what you're going to be talking about for that particular day. And so I did some examples here recently at the NDLA conference, and one of those was this Jamboard activity. And so it's just really easy to get people onto that. And I started off with just having folks introduce themselves and their responsibility and something fun that we'd like to know. So, you know, if you do this on a regular basis, you'd probably want to have a list of questions that you might share. You might have them post a picture of their pet, you know, just whatever that might be, to just get them started off on the day. And it kind of helps with that social emotional side too, just letting them kind of decompress from wherever they're at to start your class.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Anything from, it could be just something completely random. It could be something that is fun. It could be something that, like you're saying, has a social emotional behavioral learning piece to it. It's something that could be a warm up for what you're going to get into. And so you're right, being able to sort of diversify that. And Jamboard's great because you can put a Post-it note, you can draw. There's a number of things you can do. That similar to a Padlet if people are at all familiar with Padlet, but I think with some more advanced flexibility and features, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, we have a ton of different tools along the left-hand side here to be able to do that. I'll create a new frame here in a little bit and kind of start from scratch. Here is one example of just getting them tuned in to kind of show what they know already. So that KWL chart type thing, this might be something that you would ask them about, what they might be learning about and what they already know about that. And so what I did was I posted this Post-it note in the middle here, and then everybody else created their own Post-it notes by just clicking and then typing whatever they wanted to. And then they can change the color and move it around on their screen, and do whatever.
It's fun.
So, yeah, super easy to do. This is one I took from an example of a different ed tech tool, but it just works awesome here in Jamboard. But I just created a ton of little dots, and then I copied it and then pasted them. And so I had a bunch of them there for the participants to grab, and then I asked them how comfortable are they with technology, and so they were able to say, well, if I'm not very comfortable with it, I can drag it over here. If I am comfortable with it, I can just drag it way over here or anywhere in the middle there. So it's just kind of cool to create that scale, and then I did that with Zoom as well. So it's real easy to, especially once you've created that, to then, you know, just create a duplicate of that slide and go from there.
Yeah, and I'm going to cross over here a little bit too and say that I like these at the start of classes and warm up, and I also really like these as a segue or like lead into any small group collaboration that's taking place. I know one of the things that's been challenging, particularly in that hybrid setting, is getting at-home learners to be communicative with learners who are at school, or when you put people into breakouts, that for them to actually, if students don't know each other very well, to kind of have that climate and culture exist in those spaces to where they're actually engaging. And, questions like these icebreakers, they're approachable. They're ones that students, kind of find as a fun way to express themselves a little bit. And I think that it is an opportunity, even in those instances, if you sort of have that same small group within your class meet on a fairly consistent basis, it's a great place to interject these types of practices as well, to kind of support those small group culture.
Oh, definitely. That's a great idea. And not only that, then these boards can easily be shared back with the teacher. You could have a different frame. So here are all my frames for each of the small groups. And then the teacher can then go see what they're collaborating on, and even, drop in as they are doing that. So that's an awesome idea.
It's terrific for being able to monitor whenever everybody's kind of in a different space and doing different things. That's a great check for engagement piece, right?
Exactly, definitely.
Cool.
And so here is what that interface looks like in terms of creating different frames. If you're used to the PowerPoint or Google Slide world, they call them slides. And in the whiteboard world, they call them frames. And so if I wanted to create a frame right in the middle here, I can do that. I can also take a frame that I've already created and create a duplicate of it. And so it makes it really easy then to go in and change this to be something totally different. So how comfortable are you with whatever?
Mm-hmm. Or to make 6 or 10 copies if it's one for each different group.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, great point. And so some of the different tools that you have available, you have a pen tool, so I can draw here. So if I wanted to, I could say, how comfortable are you if we're talking about maybe water rights?
Oh, you're better at that than I would be. Woo.
And that is with a mouse in cursive.
Nicely done.
And so that's the pen tool. You can change colors, you can change the different styles and things like that. So then you have your eraser tool, and that'll go through and erase things that you've done in there. The sticky note is probably one of the easier, cooler ways to really outline what someone is saying. I really like the idea of being able to add images. And so, for example, if I wanted to do something on pet therapy, I can go in and add this image and talk about maybe how pet therapy works in schools, or reading programs or something like that. And so to add to this, I might take a little text box and say, this is Charlie, the golden retriever. And it's really easy to add elements and do different things like that. In terms of collaborating and what that might look like. And then this is how I created the little circles. I just
shapes,
yeah, use the shapes. And so there's all sorts of different kinds of shapes, and you can change the border color as well as the fill color. So that's pretty easy. And then on some of those, what I did was then just add a text box right on top of that filler text. So,
gives you kind of a little way to bring it off the back.
So then it just highlights and outlines it in that regard.
Cool.
And then the last tool is just the pointer tool, and just puts up a red dot there so that you can see different things, and kind of like your laser pointer, if you've ever done presentations with the laser pointer. And one of the things I really like about this, there's some whiteboarding apps with a ton of other tools, but this is nice in that they are limited. It's really nice because you don't have a lot of options. It's very straightforward. It's a quick activity, and then you move on. So
Awesome. Well, I love that we got a chance here to talk a little bit about icebreakers, got a chance to explore Jamboard and its details. And this is a great resource here. And hopefully we can encourage teachers to consider doing more icebreakers in their classroom and also to utilize Jamboard in the process of doing that. So Jason, thanks for sharing with us today.
You're very welcome.